It's such a pleasure to be in the ashram in San Diego. It's such a beautiful place, so much expressing the love of God, the divine, the way it wants to help you at every step. If you want to have an ashram, if you want to have a proper place, you want to look after your children well, you want to do God's work, everything is looked after. Everything has to be worked out. If it is not worked out, then how will you do your work? So it all works out. And it's so obvious the way we have different ashrams, such comfortable places at a very reasonable amount that we can afford, that we can live happily together. This is the abode created by love for you. So the first thing we have to remember, that among ourselves we should have complete love. Vasa? We should not trust people who try to divide us, who try to give us wrong ideas. It's very easy to make out a person who is a Sahajogi from the heart. It's very easy to make out. You have to be a little more sensitive and you'll find out such a person very easily. Whatever may be the cunning, it can be discovered. Nobody can act against God now because everything will be discovered and will be found out. But we have to have our attention fully on your mother. But some people do get little more fanatic because they are so attached. Doesn't matter. You will come round. But it's better to be fanatic than to be doubting. So those people who do things little over should come into a life that whatever they see, whatever they understand in Sahaja Yoga, whatever happens, they will accept it without any anxiety about it. This is the point, that we build up our images about Sahaja Yoga also. We cannot build up. It is what it is. We cannot build up our image. That we think Sahaja Yoga should be like this, Sahaja Yoga should be like that. It cannot be. You cannot compromise. You just cannot compromise. It has to be what it is. It cannot be anything that you want it to be. You cannot mold it because it is fixed long time back. Now it is what it is, and that is why it is working out so well, so efficiently. But to make it more efficient, you have to accept its working. Like yesterday's timings. I knew there must be something, and the time was not yet ready. The time I spent here would have been spent raising their Kundalini, unnecessarily wasted. Instead of that, 5 minutes it took me to give them realization. So it's everything has to be understood in that light. Gradually you will start seeing the divine play, how things work out, how it helps you. But supposing God has brought something before you. Dr. Varlika told me a nice story about this, which is very interesting, that between the goddess of wealth and the goddess of education, there was a little conflict. We can say education, or the Saraswati, which if neglected or if too much adored can make you egoistical. In the sense that if you become a person who is after learning, you can be thrown on the other side. So this lady wanted to test the power of wealth. So she said to the Lakshmi that, all right, let's see on this person. This person was a beggar. He needed money. and very much. So Lakshmi put lot of money in a big utensils, what we call handa, and put it in his way. This fellow was walking, so Saraswati entered into his mind. As soon as Saraswati enters into the mind, he became egoistical. And he didn't even look at that, just walked off. That was his need, but he walked off. So it suggests one thing, that when people become egoistical, start making their own plans, start making their own suggestions and images they form, then what happens? That the divine, which is trying to supply for your need, for your wants, for your solutions, disappears. This is what happens, that we do not allow the divine to have its play. This is not only on material level. It is true also on emotional level. It is true also on our physical level. But the best of all, that it is true about spiritual level also. So we should not miss the point. Let the divine play its role and we should be able to see. Like Krishna has said, karmanye vadikaraste. It is our job to do the job. Now we've done the puja, aarti is done. I said, all right, if he can do it, all right. If he cannot, I'll go by the evening plane. I'm not bothered. Whether I go by morning plane or evening plane, doesn't matter. I'm absolutely relaxed. We discuss certain important points had to be discussed, some time had to be spent. That has to be done. That's part of our life. So I'm not anxious that I should go by 1 o'clock plane. All right, I'll go by the night plane. Makes no difference to me. So just to have a very relaxed mind, watch how things come forward. People unnecessarily तुमचा फोन start त्याचा. So now when we understand that the divine is having its complete play, its own working, the whole thing is working for us, for you, the Sarju. Once you realize that, then you feel absolutely relaxed and you are in joy. But when you start, oh, this should have been like this, that should have been like this, then everything is against joy. Whichever way it comes, it is all right. Once you develop that attitude, then the joy will be complete. I have seen in emotional life also, if people suffer too much. The reason is, for everything you start thinking. Now in India, how we get married is very simple. See, from childhood we are taught that you will be married. So you must learn how to live with your husband. And a man is always told how to treat your wife. But they don't know who is the wife and the husband. But the husband and wife is just a sort of a symbol. They don't know which one it is. Just could be anyone. So once you accept her as a dharma, it comes as a surprise to you. And just enjoy. Now the whole thing is built up to a point, to a moment, which has to be auspicious also. Of course they consult the horoscopes. That's an important part, because horoscopes, if you don't consult, could be quite disastrous. So they consult the horoscopes. And if there are so many points, they say 26 points is ideal, then they get married. Otherwise they don't. Now, it's not necessary that we do not meet, or we meet. Sometimes the people meet, talk to each other for 1 year, maybe that their marriages are postponed, there's no auspicious time, they get some time to be together, but never in private. They never go into privacy. So that moment is kept as sacred moment when you are going to meet your husband or wife. That's a very sacred moment. So you are concentrated on that point. So suddenly it is decided. Now, you keep that moment as sacred moment. Even sometimes it happens that you get some time in between, quite a lot after decision could be that you have to continue as a feeling, seeing that person, this. But then you do not divert your attention. It's completely concentrated effort. It clicks because you just accept. But here people live together for 3 years, then they marry and divorce. I can't understand. Even in 3 years you live, 7 years you live, 10 years they live, still they do the same. So what's the use of knowing each other for so many years till you divorce? But it just clicks if you understand that it's a concentrated moment where you have everything concentrated and you just meet the person and accept that person as your companion. Maybe one or two fail. But if you don't think about it, it won't fail so much. Because after marriage you start thinking, oh, I expected this, I expected that, I thought this would be so, that's not so. And always trying to find fault with another, not with yourself. This is the best part of it. Not seeing that how you are adjusting to that person. Once you start thinking about marriage, marriage is finished, already done with. As a child is born to you, without thinking what sort of a child is going to come, you love the child. In the same way, in the marriage, you have to develop that kind of a concentrated feeling. Then only marriages will be successful. But here, you see, like when you purchase something, you buy something, all right. Then you think, oh, it was not good, I should have bought something else, would have been better, this, that. So you go to another thing. Things are different. Things are things. Human beings are living things. They are not dead things that you can change one from another. I could have got that one or that one. You cannot go on like this with human beings. You are playing with the divine then. And this is the main point where we feel that Sahajogis have to learn to accept with joy, with happiness, and not to project nonsensical ideas. Then only you will find your joy will be complete. Otherwise it will not be. Then if you come, say, to the physical side, like here it is, if a woman is very thin, she wants to have legs like this, hands like this, body like this. Why? I mean, imagine everybody to be regimented into certain patterns, so much of the waist, so much of the thing. Horrible it will be. I mean, you'll be tired and fed up with that. So you want to be like that. Now the fashion comes in that physically we should be Mr. America or whatever you may call it. So everybody is doing jogging, everybody running like mad. But why? You have your own personality. Keep it up. You need certain things for your body, the way you are. Of course, if your health is not all right, then you try with your chakras cure it. But to appearances, to think that I should look like this, I should be like that, makes no difference at all. So again, another madness starts. So people are very unhappy. You see, you go to these very so-called elite classes where most of the men are very highly paid, educated, top-class people. Women are also educated, everything. And what they talk is this only, how much calories you eat, this or that. You don't understand what's the matter with these people. Their level is so low. That's a decent talk. And if they come to indecency, they can go to any level also there. So that shows that there has been no evolution in that person. They just think on those terms. And that's how they become very serious. Very seriously they discuss all these things.